Hello. In this video, we're going to demonstrate how to use the Expense Report tab in the new Accounts Payable Payment Request form. Employees often travel on behalf of WCS and need to be reimbursed for the expenses that occur when they do travel. This form has embedded in it macros that will help copy and paste the information completed here on the form onto page 1 of the payment request form, specifically the general ledger account information located here. So let's take a look. I've already completed a certain portion of the form, as you might when completing the form for reimbursement of your own. I've put in my name, I've looked up my vendor number by clicking on the vendor number link and looking my name up. I've put in an invoice date. I just put in my initials and today's date, the invoice amount, invoice date of today, and the reason for the expenditure, which is a trip to Washington, D.C. for a conference. I did not complete the amount because that will be completed and when I finish with this expense report form. So let's say I took a trip to Washington, D.C. and I booked a train ticket on Amtrak, and my train ticket was $200. And then I bought something to eat at the Union train station in Washington, D.C., and that was $20. Union Station Cafe, $20. For these, I've already uploaded my receipts. I have them here. You could have a whole long list of receipts, and that's not unusual. You would use the macros that are embedded here, the add PDF backup, and the additional backup to complete these. Please note that I have already enabled macros when I open the spreadsheet. When you open the spreadsheet, you will be prompted that macros need to be enabled, and you should enable macros or else a lot of the spreadsheet won't work. So let's talk about the 3 scenarios that occur here. 1, there's the scenario where I did not receive an advance from WCS. I paid all these expenses out of pocket and I did not receive an advance. WCS owes me $220. Well, in this instance, just simply click on the button here, the Copy Expense Report Data. It will say, be sure to fill in all your account information that pertains to the expense, and brings me right here where on the main page it has filled in this section. It has copied the general ledger accounts for rail and meals, and it's copied the totals over. Here it is. All I need to do is put in my cost center. The spreadsheet is ready to go. It has filled in the total. I click the button for recipient is a WCS employee. I put in my name. I click on send for departmental review. It creates an email that sends this spreadsheet to my supervisor for review and approval. My supervisor then goes and signs it himself and then sends it to Accounts Payable, and Accounts Payable will process my reimbursement request. I'm just going to take this out and we'll talk about the other scenarios. Coming back to this spreadsheet, let's say I did receive an advance, but it wasn't enough to cover my $220 in expenses. Let's say I got an advance of $200. Well, in that instance, WCS owes me $20, but I still need to journalize the expenses so that it hits my cost center. Here, again, you click on the Copy Expense Report Data to page 1 macro, say OK, and it takes me here, and it's populated it a little differently. What it's doing here is it's hitting the expense accounts. I still need to put in my cost center. But it's taking this out of the advances account. When I was given my advance in the beginning, it was that advance came out of this account, 144008. That's advances. So now it's showing that I used my advance and I used it to pay for these expenses. It's done the math. I'm now owed $20, and that's fine. I go, click that I am a WCS employee. I put in my name. I save the file. Here I will demonstrate the save the file. So here, when I save the file, it will prompt me if I want to save it, and yes, I do. And it changes the name on the transaction to payment request, my name, the invoice number, and the invoice date. And this is so when the file arrives at accounts payable, they won't mix it up with the many other payment requests that they get. Let's go back and do the third scenario. The third scenario is where I have received an advance and it's greater than the amount of my expenses. Here I received an advance of $500, and you can see it says I owe WCS $280. And this message comes up: you currently owe WCS $280. Please send your payment request by cash or check to accounts payable. Well, that's what you should do. You owe the WCS the funds, but we still need to show these expenses and get them into the system. Here, click on the macro button again, and it takes you to this page. Now, you see some red here. This section looks similar. I need to put in my cost center. If you were someone from Global Conservation, you might be putting in a grant, a fund, a WBS element, a business area. It's all possible. So here, this accounts for the $500 that I had taken as an advance. Here's the expenses for the $220, but it says minus $280, and here's a special message that says, attention accounts payable, advance refund expected, special handling required. Well, when this gets to accounts payable, they're going to put this on the side. They're going to wait for your check and payment of $280, and they can't upload this into the accounts payable system because it does have a negative amount. So what's going to happen is we're going to deposit your check of $280, and we're going to do a journal entry recognizing the expenses. It has to be done manually, but at least we can keep the same form in the same process. There's nothing special you have to do. You simply, again, will attach your receipts here under PDF backups. You will click that you are a WCS employee, sign your name, save it, and send it for departmental review. So, those are the three scenarios. Again, we have an example here where we have completed an expense report for a trip. You may have many more items. In case you need to, if you need to have an additional GL account, you can put it here under user defined. And the macro will still work. And copy your expenses and create a line for that user defined line. The three scenarios again are: one, you didn't receive any advance and you're due the full amount. The second scenario is you received an advance and it did not cover your expenses and you're still owed some funds. The third scenario is you received an advance that was greater than your expenses and you owe WCS money. Either way, you're going to click on this button, copy expense report data, and you're going to come to this page. You're going to review it. You're going to put in your costing information on all the lines that require costing information. You can see here that on this line for the advances in process, it's all blacked out. And that's because it's a balance sheet account. You can't put in cost information for a balance sheet account. But everywhere else that there's a line, you will put in your cost information, whether it's a cost center, a fund, WBS element, grant, and you'll sign off on it, and you'll send it off to your line manager for approval. And that concludes the demonstration. Thank you very much. Let us know if you have any questions.